Hey everybody, Brandon here from Tribeca Color Salon, and thank you so much for joining us for another Tribeca Tells All podcast. As you know, this is part of our 25-year anniversary, and we are celebrating both our clients and also those people that are entrepreneurs. So we're very lucky. We have a client who is an entrepreneur, and her name is Kate Trimpett, and I've been very lucky to know her for several years now. And I'm really proud of her because she's really made a leap from one career into becoming an entrepreneur, and I love seeing when people do that. So Kate, can you give us some background about who you are before you moved into becoming an entrepreneur?
Yes, definitely. I was in healthcare pretty much for the last 30 to 35 years. I started out as a speech therapist. That was what I was licensed as. Kind of jumped around from school systems into home health, landed actually in long-term care, where I stayed for most of my career. And I actually became the vice president of a therapy company, and I managed almost 100 buildings, East Coast, West Coast, for the last 10 to 15 years, just traveling. I know you know a lot about that because you used to do the same thing, just the road warrior Monday through Friday. Then COVID came, and we all know what COVID brought. So that my career in COVID came, I kind of had to look at what I was doing. The travel was not great. My parents needed some additional support. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna be done with this, and what is the next chapter? Which is how I landed in dog grooming.
Okay, so what is it specifically that you do now? It's called Barksuds, and what is it?
So when I finished my career in healthcare, I didn't know what I was going to do. I kind of floundered around for a bit. I had actually rescued my dog during COVID and kind of thought, well, this is really what I love. It was my first dog that I had had by myself, and really was loving him and dog parks and meeting everybody that owns dogs. And I just think people that love dogs are lovely people.
Mhm.
And I was driving on Del Mabry one day, and I saw this big billboard that said Barksuds Unlimited Grooming, franchises available. So I called, and the concept is a little bit different than that you know of from just taking your dog to a groomer. Depending on the size of your dog, 45, 55, or $65 a month, you actually get unlimited services, your basic bath services. So your bath, your blow dry, the nails, the ears, the teeth, the de-shed, all those kinds of pretty much anything that doesn't require you to pull out the scissors. If you do have a dog that requires scissors, we do either a trim, which we call the Dapper Dan, or the Oliver Rover, which is your customized head to tail. And I thought, well, this is a cool concept. And at that time, I was washing my dog, which he had gotten quite large. Got him when he was 9 pounds, and he ended up being 110 pounds, and realized, yeah, it was very grueling. And I thought, it would be great if I could have somebody that would do this. I was always terrified about doing his nails. He didn't love that either. So I went and checked out and went and talked to the owner of Barksuds, and here we are, 2.5, almost 3 years later.
Wow, it's already been 3 years. That's great.
Well,
That's
the initial
awesome.
concept was about 3 years, and then we
Yes.
did
Okay.
all the contractual stuff, and as you know, the build out was trying to find something in South Tampa was very challenging, and then trying to get a build out done took another year, maybe year and 2 months. So it took quite a long time to actually open the doors. So we
Wow.
opened the
Okay.
doors February of last year. So just
Okay. It
now.
has been a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always that prep time is always such a nightmare, just build outs and everything. So it's interesting because I imagine what your setup looks like because I know that I've been to like a public grooming area with all the bathtubs that's kind of stand up and everything. So you have like a group of people that work with you that are the groomers, right? And how many dogs do you service at any one time?
So it kind of depends. Our physical shop is fairly small. So we have bathers that just do the bathing because they don't require a whole lot of specific skills just beyond understanding dog behavior and, learning how to do the nails and the ears and the teeth. I mean, pretty much to wash a dog isn't very that difficult. Of course, the grooming aspect is much, much more difficult. We have two groomers that are there full time, and then I have 4 to 5 bathers that are there, part-time to full-time. I don't like to have a lot of dogs there at the same time. Just my background, I'm very cautious about anything that might happen. So I don't like to have dogs passing in the hallways or anything like that. So I have 4 tables. One is a table that one of the groomers is occupying, and then typically the other 3 or 4 bathers or 2 bathers and a groomer, just depending on what we have scheduled any given day. To wash a very small dog that doesn't have a lot of hair may only take 25-30 minutes. To wash a bigger dog, you think about your poodles. There's lots of varieties of poodles these days because everybody likes the hypoallergenic dog. That takes a lot longer, and not just because the dog is bigger, but the hair requires a lot of attention. You don't really, you need to make sure that you do it the right way and get it dry so you don't send them home and put them at risk for matting and those kinds of things. So if we have a lot of small dogs, a bather might see 8 to 12 small dogs in a day. If it's bigger dogs, it may be 7 to 9. It just kind of just depends. Every day is a little bit different.
Interesting. Yeah. I know that for myself. So I've got a lab shepherd mix. Doesn't need to be groomed, but of course the bathing and the nails. So I do bathe her at home. That's not really a problem. She enjoys it, but it's backbreaking for me because I'm doing it in the bathtub. But then the nails are an issue. So she's always been very skittish. So we've always taken her to like a specialty nail place that suspends her so that
Mhm.
she's kind of like up in the air and she can't like run away. And it was pretty good this entire time. Then because the hurricanes, we couldn't get in, so we actually did try to clip her nails, and we actually did mess up on one of the nails.
Oh,
It was very scary. So I know the
right.
importance of taking to a professional groomer that actually knows what they're doing and everything. So I think it's a great service that you're offering, most definitely. And it sounds like with the membership, it just makes sense, especially if you can, if you need multiple, cleanings a month for a certain type of dog type. I mean, I'm lucky. She's short hair, she sheds, but like there's no grooming going on. But
Right.
people who have fancy dogs that their hair grows, they definitely need that service more often.
And it's, kind of like we have most of our clients come in once or twice for a full bath a month. And then depending if they need a haircut, 6 to 8 to 12 weeks, whatever that is. But one of the nice things about having the membership, especially if you have a dog with a lot of hair, even just a dog that sheds a lot, you don't necessarily have to get all services done every time you come in. So you could come in once a week, twice a week, and not get the full bath and blow dry, but get a de-shed service, just where we're blowing out all of that undercoat of hair, or you're just getting the nails done, or for the poodles and the doodles, all those kinds of dogs that require a lot of maintenance, just even to come in and get a really good professional brush out to make sure that you're keeping that hair from getting matted, because it is very painful, uncomfortable for a dog if they get to that point. So we spend a lot of time with folks that have new dogs like this they've never had before, kind of training them about the tools that they should be using, how to be doing the brushing, how often to come in, all of those kinds of things. The
Oh, that's
staff
great.
that I have is great. Most of them have been with me since the beginning, which initially I'd heard it's a nightmare to get staff, but I've been very fortunate. I was also sort of surprised when I was looking into this that there's no regulation as far as like licensing or certification to be a groomer. You can just say I am one, I was really surprised. So I've been fortunate too. I had a great groomer that had been doing it for many years, and she actually is going back to school to become a vet, which is awesome. I love for people to spread their wings and do something new. And she stayed with me for about 3 or 4 months, training 2 of my staff members while I sent them to school. So now we actually have 2 certified groomers. That is wonderful. And they're very knowledgeable. And we do have a lot of folks that have either puppies or older dogs or dogs that are very reactional.
Okay.
And we kind
Needs,
of say,
special
hey,
needs dogs.
yeah, special needs dogs, exactly. It's like we're not scared of that. It's, hey, we're open Tuesday through Saturday, 9 to 5, but we're like, come in at 8. We're going to come in at 8, so you have the whole place to yourself, or we're going to stay until we'll have you the last appointment of the day, so we can stay and get your dogs, get everybody comfortable. You want the experience to be a pleasant experience, because for most dogs it is quite scary. But most of our dogs, even the ones that have come in totally freaking out, now they get to the door and they come running in, they're wagging their tail. They know that it's not a scary thing. That's they're going to feel better when they leave. So it's really nice to see.
That's awesome. It's a feel-good business.
It took
everybody like wants to see their dogs pampered, and the dogs must love it, after they get used to it and everything. So that's awesome. So how about so you purchased the franchise to get into this business. Here you are up and running. How do you feel like, what would you say your experience has been as an entrepreneur, changing careers, moving into your own business? Do you feel that that franchise support has beneficial for you? Do you think it's kind of like helping you with the day to day or the long term or like advertising sake, or how does that work for you?
So I definitely think that the advertising and being out there, there's a lot of Barksuds in the area. So if you and we're all independently owned and operated. So there's one very close to me. There's probably 15 now in the Tampa Bay area. And we all chat and talk and learn and grow together. Interestingly enough, I actually bought into the franchise before even the first store was open, sort of knowing that I was getting in and that, excuse me, the allergies. The owner and I were going to kind of learn together, and we have, and it's been a great
Oh,
experience.
that's great. Okay.
I'm never scared of a challenge or learning, and I kind of knew how to run a business because of my healthcare experience, and I knew that I loved dogs. I know how to deal with people living or working in healthcare. We were taking care of geriatrics, so that wasn't a stretch for me. I've learned a lot. There was a lot of things that I didn't know. I'm still very hands-on. I work the front desk. I do most of the day. I'm calling all of the people, and I'm working on the books, and I'm doing all the things. So I haven't had a lot of opportunity to really step away to kind of get super creative. I think I could be doing more in the area of marketing. I know you've talked to me lots when we've been at the store about things that you've done, which I've appreciated very much. But getting into it's difficult for me because I'm not great at technology, sort of getting into the social media, TikTok sort of things. It's just not my thing. Unfortunately, most of the folks that work with me are better at it than I am, and we kind of muddle through. So I think, we've been on it for about a year and a half. We haven't done really that much marketing independently of the franchise, and most of our client base has been word of mouth. And we're probably about 60% to where I think that I want to be when I have to cap.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's
that's
great.
very fortunate. I think we do a good job, and I think that, we really want our customers to know that we care about them, their dogs, and we really try to, step out of our level of comfort to make sure that that happens, whatever that is. I mean, all of my staff is very flexible, and, it's been great.
It's really important too, because you have to have a team that works well together and also sees that end goal, so they actually have the passion about it. How has it been? You said it's a great team that you're working with and everything. Did you find them because you are a franchise? Like, are these people that worked for other groomers and they've gravitated towards the idea of like more of a corporate settle?
No, interestingly, when I first started, I basically went to Indeed. And what I found pretty quickly is, I don't know how you find your staff, you put an ad out that you need a bather and you get 600 resumes, and it's everything from warehouse workers to, people that don't have any experience. And I really didn't want that because I had no experience. So I was able to find a handful of folks that had some experience in bathing, and they kind of helped me along. Two of my friends who are actually flight attendants really loved the idea of working with me, and they're still with me. One of them is now one of the girls that I sent to school. She's been a flight attendant for many, many years, and she works with me 4 days a week, and she flies 2 days a week. So I'm feeling very great about that. I had a gal that had a little teeny bit of experience, but she worked with preschool kids right up the road and was ready to kind of make a change. She came in, she was very unsure, and she's now one of the best groomers around. She's so talented, so good. And word of mouth. They had some friends, people hear about us. I had a couple that was with us since the beginning, but they moved to Tennessee and they knew a couple of people. So I just kind of been able to work it out that way. And actually those two people came from one of the Barksuds as well. So it's a little bit of everything. I really, you kind of want to keep your staff, obviously,
Hmm.
and you grow and you learn with them. I've been fortunate. I do have a couple of college students that work part-time, and they're both chemistry majors, and they're going to be graduating here in the next year. So I'll be looking for, to get some other folks in and kind of just keep going and hope for the best that we keep having good people.
Yeah, that's all you can do. So, right.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you've actually invested in them also, right? If you sent them to school, that's an investment on your end, I'm assuming.
For sure. And, that's kind of how I've always been. I always want anybody that works with me, for me, however you want to say it, to give them all the knowledge that they want or need so that they can do what I do or, move on to doing something better. I think that that's important. Most of the folks that are in this line of work are younger because it is not easy. Physically, it's not easy. And you can imagine, washing your dog, imagine doing 10 to 12 to 14 of those in a day, even though you have the right height tubs and things like that, it's still very, very physically demanding. And knowing that, that as they move on in their careers, that they may want to do something different, hopefully that they can take this experience and build upon it to become the best person that they want to be doing whatever they want to do. I'm very supportive of that.
Fantastic. Get to excuse my dog is here trying to. You're gonna try to get on screen. Oh, so okay. So last question, actually. So here you are. You took a huge leap of being an entrepreneur, getting into your own business, which of course is scary, because it's all you now. It's like, we are, of course, there's support out there, but we're kind of on our own with the financial risks and liabilities, et cetera. Any words of wisdom so far? I know it's only been about, a few years that you've been doing this, but to somebody who wants to start out, and not necessarily franchise, but somebody who wants to get their own business started, what would you say is the most important aspect of taking that leap to that change that you need in your life?
You really kind of make sure that you have the financial means and support to kind of literally weather through the hurricanes really kind of messed
Yes.
up. We had COVID a couple years ago, and then we had this really bad luck of weather, and build outs. You understand that more than anyone. When you have these hiccups that come, your bills don't stop coming. So you have to make sure that you've done your homework and that you have that loan or you have that investor or somebody that's going to be able to help you get through those times, because they will likely happen, and it's not something that you can anticipate or plan for typically.
Of course, yeah. Definitely is the unknown that is the scariest thing. But like you said, you just have to make sure that you have that support system set up so that you do have some financial safety so you can weather the storm, most definitely. So yeah. Well, I'm proud of you. I think that's awesome that you've done this because so many people say, I wanna, but they never execute. And the fact that you actually did pull the trigger and moved out on your own is wonderful. So I'm very proud of you. And it sounds like you're doing great already. 60% membership in just like a year and a half or so. That's pretty amazing. So that's great.
Yes.
So once again, I just want to thank you for doing this. It was really quick and easy to do a podcast, isn't it? So now you can get
Yeah.
out there and
Look at that.
yeah, just like any part of marketing, you just have to take the jump and just do it. So
That's right.
so, Kate, I really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for being on our podcast, and we'll get this out on the air as soon as we can. And keep on working. So, everybody, remember, it is Barksuds. And where's the actual location?
It's Barksuds Marina Westshore District. And if they call or come in and they mention you or your salon or this podcast, we'll give them 25% off their first month.
Excellent. That's great. All right, cool. Well, Kate, once again, thank you so much for your time. You have a good one, okay?
Thanks. You as well, Brandon. See you soon.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. All right, take care. All right, bye bye.